Today we're going to be jumping into something I think is going to be kind of fun. This is a pre-alpha game that I'm working on. I'm hoping to be able to do more of these in the future, but there's obviously the inherent concern of if I publish this on YouTube, then people might steal the idea, and I'm looking to actually turn this into a real game, so that would suck. But I think it'd be a fun way to get involved with the community and talk about what have I come up with, what am I looking to do, and see what sounds fun, what ideas you guys might have, and kind of collaborate a bit onto something that everyone might enjoy quite a bit. So here's the gist. You are on a meteor station, which, if you're not aware, I host a virtual reality YouTube channel as well that is called Meteor Station, so it's kind of a shout out to that. But in this case, it's an actual station planted on a meteor out in space. So you are just arriving there, you haven't really seen the place, and there is some sort of impending disaster about to hit you, little do you know. Except you know, because, that's what you're signing up for when you play the game. But the disaster will change each game. So I have it just kind of written on a paper, it'll be more like a card you draw. But one of the fun things I came up with is there will be multiple ways to resolve the issue. So for instance, say there's a foreign body hurtling toward you, and if it hits, everybody dies, the meteor explodes. That would not be great. That would not be an ideal situation. So you can either first divert it, which you have to do quicker, but it might require fewer resources, or if you don't succeed at doing that in time, you could aim to destroy it, which you have longer to do, but it's more difficult to do. So you already kind of have some strategic decision making, and they're going to require slightly different resources and have different goals on how to actually accomplish these things. And another example would be, okay, acid rain, I'm probably going to have to take that out because that implies that the meteor has like an atmosphere, which, but it's a good example anyway, because you could either stabilize the climate or you fail to prevent the acid rain, so you build a protective shelter and then you can hide from it. So just kind of an example of, the different kind of disaster prevention or deal with it kind of scenarios that could happen. So, like I said, pre-alpha, I could have just grabbed a piece from a different game, but I'm using a paperclip. So, everything is unexplored when you start the game, other than the meteor station where you start, and the mountains, because it's kind of funny when a game's just like, you're exploring and, oh, I came across mountains. Like, how did you, end up on the mountains? And go, I see you now. Like, you see the mountains. But one of the things I like in games in general is when your character has some unique aspect about them that makes them useful. And so for this game, you start off with an item. And you can choose which item you're going to get, but you don't know which one's going to be most useful because you don't know the disaster yet. That'll be revealed after a turn or two. So say you start off with something like a blaster, which might be good for destroying a boulder or invading aliens or whatever. You might want to come back and switch it out with something else at some point later, which you could do for an action, but you would have to come back to the station to do so. So that way everyone's kind of got a unique specialty from the get-go, but you can kind of roll with the punches a little bit, because you don't want someone to be just feeling completely useless either, because it's just a scenario that's less useful to what they have. So if they're willing to make the journey back to the station, then they can switch out and get something more helpful to the situation. But you can explore like usual, so let's move my really cool paperclip player and reveal a tile. And I'm not going to reveal the whole board or anything, it's going to change a lot anyway. But okay, so this is a manufacturing facility, which is actually getting to one of the things that rekindled the interest in making this game. So it actually made this base game a while ago, but then we moved and a lot of the game got lost, and I didn't really remember what was there for the pieces that got lost. I just remember liking it, and I couldn't remember how it went. But when I came back to it and tried to figure out what could be fun instead, since I couldn't remember it, I came up with some ideas I really liked. And so this is one of the things I wanted to talk about for this, because it's kind of like worker placement, but I like it a lot better. So like I said, it's going to change pretty drastically, so don't get too attached to this, but just to get the idea across. So you can have a harvester chill in here producing minerals, but then so far it's a drone. You could have a drone taking it from here. In this case, it's one space away, so it's not really that useful, but if the mineral node were over here, you could be having the drone make this trip back and forth, and it moves a certain amount of spaces every round, just like the player does. And so it can be gathering resources for you while you're still exploring and working on other things. So I thought that was kind of cool because it's kind of like a manufacturing setup with this worker placement, resource collection, and that kind of thing. And so one of the things I'm going to be looking to change from the OG game is I'll make it so that the game's just very slightly longer so that you can have time to build up this kind of stuff, have a cool little setup, and it's working toward getting you what you need to be able to handle the disaster. So that's kind of the basic gist of the game. And I just, like I said, I just wanted to present the ideas here, see if it sounds fun. I think it sounds pretty fun, so I'm going to try to build it out and kind of prove that it's fun. But if anyone has thoughts or suggestions or whatever, I'd love to hear it. This is a pretty undiscovered YouTube channel because I've only posted a couple of things and I haven't really even told anybody about it yet. So this is kind of more of a proof of concept, but if you do find this before I've actually made this game, drop a comment, let me know what you think, or what else you'd like to see. So that's all for this one. Hopefully I have some more development progress to share with you in the future, and have a good one.